Every Thursday, when you hear this sound on your radio 98.1, you know it's time to talk politics on Smooth 98.1. Welcome to the show.
And then you say it's politics o'clock.
Politics o'clock. I was waiting for you to say that
All
to
right,
me.
great.
Welcome to the show. We're so excited to be here with you in the next, 45 minutes discussing Nigeria's politics. If you're new to the show, welcome here. Here we look at some of the big trends in Nigerian politics. This is the month for campaigns.
And we serve them out as what you call flakes first, and then we move on to get into the main discourse for the day. I am Omatseye Atsenuwa.
I'm Victor Pepple, and we have a guest who is the MD, editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Express newspaper, formerly the deputy managing director of the Sun newspaper. In fact, I can reel his profile, very long profile. He would be joining us on the conversation today. In a moment, we'll introduce our guest and get straight into the conversation for today as we look at visits to former Nigeria's presidents and the choice of who becomes Nigeria's next president in 2023. Now, there are several platforms to reach us live on the program today.
First, we would like to hear from you, hopefully, by reaching us up on the number 01448-9981 will be the number for you to give us a call. We're expecting the calls to come in. And you can also reach us up on a WhatsApp that we're getting in the messages on 0809-444-0981.
On Twitter is Smooth 91 FM. Would love to read your tweets as well. We're streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Smooth 981 FM. Let's get into our political flakes.
Well, it's getting flaky out here because this week apparently would just seem like a week of visits and defection as we've experienced this week. So first, we'd like to call your attention to the fact that former governor of Kano State, Shekarau, has eventually made it out of the NNPP. Well, that marriage apparently now it's a divorce. We can tell you now it's a divorce that has been done. The papers have been done, signed, and probably even burnt in the first place. So it was never meant to be in the first place. It seems like when you have two big names, ego comes into play. Who would step down or who would, be loyal to the other? It becomes a question. So it was a marriage between Shekarau and the man known as the leader of the Kwankwasia movement. Kwankwaso, who himself was also a former governor of Kano State, could not really reconcile their differences. And so the man has ported back or jacked back to the PDP where he used to be. So now it was received by another big masquerader and who apparently is the leader of the party now because of the virtue of the responsibility. His shoulders will carry the responsibility of taking the PDP back into the state house come 2023, and that Atiku Abubakar was in Kano for that reception that was attended by the national chairman of the party also, who is also in the eye of the storm.
Well, Ibrahim Shekarau does not surprise me at all.
Oh.
You know why?
We're waiting to hear.
There are people who they call serial defectors.
Like serial contestants also, you mean?
Okay. The serial contestants could also be in this box of defectors.
Okay.
What I mean by that is he was in the ANPP from 2002 to 2014. He left to the People's Democratic Party in 2014. He went to the PDP. From 2014 to 2018, he was a member of the PDP. And suddenly he left the PDP. Guess where? To the APC. And left the APC to NNPP. Now he's back to the PDP. Does that surprise you? Oh. This is a serial defector, like it or not. Now, interesting thing is, I cannot understand this political romance between him and Rabiu Kwankwaso, and I explain. He was the first governor of Kano State. Kwankwaso now was the first governor of Kano State from 1999 to 2003.
Just one term.
Then Ibrahim Shekarau beat him at the polls after his first term in office.
Yes.
Now, Shekarau was re-elected in 2007 till 2011. So he, if you want to look at it, has political sagacity in Kano State. He was governor from 2003 to 2011, and then he handed the baton back to Rabiu Kwankwaso to complete his second term in office from 2011 to 2015. And at the time, the current governor of Kano State was running mate to Rabiu Kwankwaso.
Yes.
Now, Kwankwaso has the Kwankwasia movement in Kano State, which is very popular. He also has a very huge following in Kano State, which we cannot rule away. That's Ibrahim Shekarau now. Both of them decided to form NNPP together, the New Nigeria People's Party. Apparently, Atiku has discussed with him and has told him all the juicy benefits that he stands to gain should he come and support him to deliver Kano State in 2023. However, loyalists to Shekarau did not follow him to leave the NNPP, even when he did leave his brother, Rabiu Kwankwaso, to go back to the PDP to support Atiku Abubakar in 2023. His loyalists are saying, Oga, we rather stay with our brother than go to support Atiku. That's what happened.
But you also want to ask yourself, where is the place for reputation? What do our politicians really stand for? It's either you stand for something or you fall for something. As it seems presently, it seems like if I am not the person in the forefront of the ticket, then I'm sorry. That's where ego comes in. So we must learn to, politicians actually, for them, it's really nothing about, it's always about them. It's a me-centered kind of pursuit for them. So if it's not them, then nobody else will get it. Let's just tear down the house and then everybody would move away. So, but the days are here already. The months are not too far away for us to decide this. Let them get down to test their popularity, because it's been a long time coming, This talk about the Kwankwasia movement. And don't forget, Ganduje has also told them, look.
Thank you very much.
Look,
so you see, just to come in here, Kano State, which is the most populated state after Lagos.
Yes.
In fact, some argue that it's more, in fact, even more populated than Lagos State, but because of the numbers, and numbers do matter in Nigeria.
Yes.
If your state has a larger population, you get more benefits. But let's leave that for another conversation. Kano State has over 12 million people there, as at last count. Now Lagos is telling us that we have over 20 million people in Lagos. I would like to hear the accurate numbers in Kano. That said, it looks like Kano State has been divided, with the former governor, Rabiu Kwankwaso, as the presidential candidate of NNPP. Definitely loyalists to Kwankwaso would want to vote for their son. He's from Kano State, let's not forget. Atiku is a very smart politician. You need men like Ibrahim Shekarau to mobilize grassroots for you in that state, whether you like it or not. And then the current governor of Kano State, Ganduje, is a very close friend to the former governor of Lagos, who is the presidential candidate of the APC. So as it stands now, 3 political parties are trying to see how they can divide the votes in Kano, even if it's 25% they get each, as required by law. If they can get 25% of the votes from each of those states, is fine. They don't even want to win us. Just get 25% from Kano State. How about the Labour Party? Can they muzzle at least 25% of the votes from that state? Because the 3 main actors now are former governors of the state, or 2 former governors and a sitting governor of that state. All of them will try to deliver for their candidates. Where is the place of the Labour Party here?
Look, see, these are 3 elephants already. And the man on the seat, until he leaves, still has the incumbency factor that may tilt it in the scale towards the ruling party.
With Kano State is a little different. Yes, he's the incumbent governor. That's Alhaji Ganduje. But if you want to look at the powers that be in Kano State, it's been a PDP state for a long time, like it or not.
But of course, they've been there for the past 8 years now, so you can't rule that out.
We saw what happened in 2015, my dear friend Omatseye. We saw what happened there was going to be a rerun, and that's how he came into power. But let's also leave that conversation again.
No, some of this, we can't be sweeping these conversations under the carpet every time, because we don't have time any longer.
Ganduje, all things being equal,
yes,
was standing on one leg in 2015. If not for the interventions of the power that be in Abuja, and then he was re-elected in 2015. In 2019, beg your pardon.
But of course, the man has
first elected 2015, 2019, when he was re-elected.
You'll give him credit. See, everybody.
You don't want us to go into that conversation. He was not very little like this before he won that election in 2019.
However, he still won.
He won, yes, because he was, sitting governor, and he had some people in Abuja who could help. Right now, the president has made his stance clear. You see, 2023, I want to speak pidgin now. In local parlance, they say, my hand no dey there. Who wins should win. I'm not going to do anything to influence for anybody in 2023. And this is off from a meeting that was held in Abuja within the week, where Progressives governor, led by Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, took his other colleagues and brothers and junior brothers to President Buhari in Abuja. And then it was a closed-door meeting.
Usually, when they close the doors, most often than not, they shut the press out of it. But of course, they also like the publicity that the press would give to this thing. So they begin to give us snippets of what was discussed. But you and I know that it is time for strategy for the ruling party ahead of the whole things happening. So that means there must be time to discuss frankly and get the cameras out. So that's one of such meetings. And the days ahead will tell us what exactly they discussed and how they need to re-strategize if they must hold on to power. Else, the 8 years at the national level, all of these will talk about my hands won't be in part of, in the election, whoever wins, wins. Let me tell you, the truth, see, President Buhari's body language is what you should go for, not what has been said.
What is his body language?
Well, if you read his body language, he will tell you that, look, I can see a battle will be lost, but the main war itself, as politics has become on this continent, they would come all out for it.
President Buhari has consistently showed, since we're discussing body language, yes, that the candidate of the APC at the moment, like it or not, might not have been his preferred candidate.
But have you heard when he said that, of course, going forward, he would also support...
Just a moment, Omatseye. You want us to go into this room, let's go there. The president has showed clearly that this candidate of the APC, left to me, would not have been my preferred candidate, since we're discussing body language.
Yes.
Now, I say that carefully. During the party's primaries in Abuja, he, again, did not support anybody, which is why I like him. He will tell you anybody that will win, just a moment.
No.
He said anybody that will win, let the person win. Atsenuwa being a strategic...
Remember when he told them, if I have my way, I would have loved to pick my preferred successor.
You are going back to 1999. We are going to 2023.
You are taking us back.
You are taking us back 20 years ago. He did not impose any candidate on the APC.
The governors
which made a skillful candidate to win. Which governors resisted his move? No governor can challenge the sitting president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Take it anywhere. If President Buhari wanted to impose a candidate, have you forgotten how governors always impose a successor?
Buhari is not that.
It's not his style.
Savvy.
No, that's not true.
Don't make
that's not true. That's not true.
The president
you cannot say politically.
He's not politically skilled to do that.
Really?
Yes.
Omas,
I'm telling you, he's not.
You tell me that if President Buhari today wanted to impose his successor,
they had run the ropes around him that it was impossible to do it.
Let me tell you what happens.
It was too late.
Every time governors go to meet President Buhari, they say, "Rankadede, sir." They just greet him, kneel down and be greeting him. Nobody tells him the truth. And you tell me that if President Buhari still wanted to impose on those governors, it would not work?
It wouldn't have.
Let's leave that aside. What I'm saying in essence is, let me tell you, if the president, like he has consistently said, I don't have anything to lose after 2023.
And that's very selfish of him.
It's not selfish.
That's selfish.
When you were
seeking it, you have everything to lose. Now, because you've had your fill now, your ambition is fulfilled.
The president is
then
saying,
you can now say you have nothing to lose again.
For free and fair elections in Nigeria.
When the baboons will meet with the dog and fight, and they will recognize themselves with the blood that will be covered. That they will be covered.
Let me finish now.
Okay, go
he
ahead.
said, first in the primaries, anybody that wants to win. And Atsenuwa, being a skillful politician, won that primaries.
Yes.
It's now time for the main elections. He's saying, see, anybody that will win. I will not interfere. Though I will support my party. And then people begin to ask, were you not going to support the party that brought you into office?
So are you not taking it there now? So what does that say now?
I will not try to impose a candidate for Nigerians. That's what he's saying. But I will campaign for my party.
I am for
there are
nobody,
two different
I am
things.
For everybody, I hear you.
Because of party, anybody the party has chosen, I will support that person. But for me to use my own powers as president to say this party will win in 2023, it shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass.
Okay, no this and no peace, I hear you. Let's moving on. In other news,
I think we should just wrap up here because of our time, and so we can take our next.
That will not be fair to the Labour Party. Now we must, since you're talking about
balance, let's put it in then. The Labour Party's presidential candidate, he's been getting grand receptions outside of Nigeria. let's be clear about it. Getting reception, rousing round of applause in Germany, in the US, in London is not. In fact, this day newspaper this morning look at the front page of this day newspaper today. They put the chances of people who they think will win the elections in 2023. Show me if Peter Obi's face was on that front page.
Yeah, look, I won't take it away from him. Listen, my own in this is, first, I like to take it this way. It's the last time we checked, it was in the US. And so that's like coming to America, as the they put it in one of their write-ups. So, but beyond that, we must remember, politics is local. After you finish the international tour, you will come home and play local politics. But I just hope that is many followers out there who have moved from the streets of Twitter and keypads, they must remember this now, that it is time to translate all of this popularity on ground. But when you ask them what's their structure like, they tell you that you will see structures. Buildings are being painted already in the Labour Party colors and across the country. So let's just wait. Don't write him up.
But let's not also take away the fact that there are people who are threatened by the Labour Party, and some of them have decided not to give them media attention again. So they will give media attention to their preferred friends, like it or not. We're going to see that as the campaigns unfold in a few weeks. There are some owners of media houses who are friends with some of these big wigs who are competing on the major political parties, who internally have given matching orders already. If Labour Party do not bring money, but let's leave all of that conversation aside.
But you can see that that's why we have to put this in. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets.
And I worry for the Labour Party, because the people who are already contributing funds, they're crowdfunding, right? So there's a GoFundMe for the Labour Party, and their target is $150 million. So they believe that with $50 million, they stand a good chance to muscle the other political parties. But again, when people bring out their money, accountability must, be brought forward as well. So if an average Nigerian takes 2,000 naira and contributes because this is his preferred candidate, and then something happens, they will tell you that, Oga, that money I paid, I suffered to get it. We must know how it was spent.
You remember the case of Obi Ekwesili the other time?
I'm even looking at the NSAS when they did the same crowdfunding and the stories that came out after it. But
that wasn't far away to remember that too.
We're really pressed for time.
All right.
Remember, you can be part of the conversation, sending messages to us on WhatsApp, 0809-444-0981. Call us up as well as the show takes a higher dimension by calling 0144899181. I wish we had real time to talk about the politics in Delta State. But let's take a break. When we do come back, of course, we'll take it straight to our guest for today, who is the MD and editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Express newspaper. You're listening to Smooth 98.1. My name is Victa Pepple.
I'm Omatseye Atsenuwa.
To understand Nigeria, you need to appreciate where it came from.
Why? We must always have that. Let them bring those adverts and put it there.
Exactly.
So you mean they don't want to give them what's it called? Give them media time again? No, Labour Party. No, it's not fair.
They should give them.
Should give them.
How did this melting pot of diverse people become one nation?
We're going to talk about democracy by the people, to the people, for the people. Now, listen, my society is underdeveloped.
Let's use phone. Let's use phone. Just stay on the line. We're going back in 20 seconds.
From me on Smooth 98.1, now every Thursday from 11 a.m.
So let's establish a simple truth. The British didn't travel halfway across the world just to spread democracy. Nigeria started off as a business deal for them between a company and a government.
Fix this one.
Ooh. 98.1.
It's Still Talk Politics on Smooth 98.1. You can be part of the conversation on 014489981. That will be for you to call in a moment from now. And you can also reach us up on WhatsApp 0809 0809 4440981 will be the number. And Victor, let's unveil our guest.
All right, we have joining us now the MD and editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Express newspaper, also the former deputy managing director of the Sun newspaper. I think I should just reel out the profile at once before we introduce him. He's also former editor and later deputy manager of the Sun newspaper. I mentioned that former Saturday editor of the This Day newspaper. He's also at the board of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. He's sitting there as the treasurer, what you might ascribe to the Minister of Finance if it were to be the federal cabinet. His name is Steve Nwosu. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining.
Good morning, Victor and Shere. Sorry for the network. We are waiting for the technology. Technology can be a little friendlier, but we thank God we are.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank
no
you very
problem.
much for joining in. Let's get straight into our conversation. Today, we'd like to look at the visits to former presidents of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and perhaps the choice of who becomes Nigeria's next president in 2023.
Okay.
So quickly, let's get your take on this whole rush to go get blessings from presidents, their blessings, to see how it impacts on their, campaigns as it starts later this month.
It's our way of doing it. I don't think it's only a Nigerian thing, but in Nigeria it's particularly so because of late, the particular pilgrimages to Mina, to Ota, Abeokuta, depending on where OBJ is, and then Mina for IBB, you finish at the hilltop, you just cross over adjacent IBB's house is General Salam Abubakar's house. So you cross from IBB's place to go and visit General Salam Abubakar. But the thing is this, it's become almost, those that don't do it will be regarded as maybe not being serious or so. So you see, even people that have, some of us, at least in the public, perceive to be as enemies or people who really don't like some of these former heads of states or presidents that normally still have to go see them. In 2011 or so, I think, when Buhari was running, in 2011, I think, even 2011, you saw Rivaldo and all of them going to IBB. In 2013, as soon as APC, the new APC was being formed, you saw Buhari, Tinubu, and all of them going to visit, what is it called, IBB. After taking the party to them, when they started the campaign proper for Buhari to run for presidency and all that, they still went there. That was, I think, 2014 or so. Is it 2015? Ahead of the 2015 general election, Buhari went there. And then you now see, it comes with every round of elections in Nigeria. You see them going.
But why is it important to go pay these visits or this homage to the former presidents?
I think you can't, no matter how much, you can't remove the place or whatever advice you can get from of this former president, whether they did good or did bad. The thing is that having occupied the villa, having occupied the presidency of Nigeria, there's always something you can advise, one piece of advice you can give anybody aspiring to that position. So whether you agree with the person, as at the time Buhari went to see IBB, some of us were in the media. Although many believe the media creation, some of us in the media believe that Buhari was not even in good terms with IBB. He had to go there. Atsenuwa is today, he was among those saying IBB had to go, he's the father of corruption, is everything, but they want to do election, they go there. I think it's a way of, if you haven't gone there, it's like you haven't started.
Mr. Nwosu, let's also bring Jonathan into the conversation. Jonathan, now, a lot of people are going to visit him as well.
Jonathan. And this was the same Jonathan that we said, they said had failed, had clueless and everything. It's like, it's almost like it's fashionable, it's like politically, the way to be politically correct. It's like the right thing, the thing to do. You see Atsenuwa who quarreled and fought and they took out Jonathan. It's the person going back to the same Jonathan to seek advice, to seek endorsement. So it's just like we are running in circles, really. For me, it's like we are running in circles. I have nothing against them. I always believe one of the strongest presidents we have produced in this country is Obasanjo. I don't like him for so many things, but I see if the devil is due, you can't go too far without talking to him. He has things he has to tell you, but then the same people who demonize Obasanjo, demonize IBB, are still going there to seek information, to seek advice, to seek endorsement. It's like whether we like it or not, these people still have a lot of people listening to them. And once they put in word for you, it goes a long way for you.
Since you've mentioned you closed up with Obasanjo, so let me probably continue in that light. I remember some time ago, some years now, at his Otta residency, he ordered the ward chairman of his party back then to shred his party card, to pieces, that he's done with the PDP and he's no longer going to be partisan. And so we want to juxtapose that with the position that ex-presidents should occupy, being non-partisan, and the positions they are taking right now. At what point can they, before they know it, they cross the line of being partisan? How can they stay non-partisan?
Is it constitutional that they should stay non-partisan?
It is not constitutional. I mean, if you run election on the platform of, if Jimmy Carter is still a Democrat tomorrow, Clinton still is, but that doesn't mean that even when you win election as a candidate of a political party, but you govern as the president of the entire country. So at some point, you have to bury your party affiliations and your partisanship to look at the larger picture, which is the whole country. So, and same thing applies to those who have stepped down. It's only, as we know, only maybe Gowon and Abdul Salam that have maintained that they are non-partisan. Obasanjo ran as a PDP person. Yes, he has turned his PDP card and said he's no longer a partisan person. If you could go with APC, so he's not doing things as I mean, the last time he even walked to get rid of, to kick Jonathan out of that place, he actually worked with them, Tinubu and APC, to bring about Buhari. So he's not, Obasanjo clearly is no longer into any party, then he goes with anybody. Same thing with IBB. IBB was in PDP, but now IBB is more or less like a non-partisan. So he hasn't denounced his membership of PDP, but he can still combine being a member of PDP. And now they are looking at the country, what is good for the country. The IBB, as far back as 2013, said anybody that wants to discuss Nigeria and how to move Nigeria forward, that is seeking election, is welcome to his home. That his doors are open to them. So it meets and discuss.
All right. Quickly, let's look at.
Is going to come from APC, so be it. So it's possible to remain non-partisan.
The big question now will be, all these visits to former presidents, does it translate to victories at the polls?
Let me tell you, the truth is that each time you go visit the former president, he will tell you definitely, but to be political, it will be diplomatic, to be nice. He can't tell you that I don't support you, go away. will say something nice about you. You came to discuss. It might not. It could even as much as say, if you will do this and this, I endorse this your candidature. But that doesn't stop him from saying the same thing to Peter Obi and say, since you're going to do this and this and this, I endorse your candidature. He tells the same thing to Tinubu. He tells the same thing to Atsenuwa and all that, irrespective of what he does. But does it translate to victory of votes? Truth is that for it to translate to votes, I mean, people now have to go, you now have to know who is working for beyond the outside of the cameras on the ground, if he's working for anybody. But the truth is that everybody needs to go get, for now in Nigeria, goes to get that endorsement. Whether it translates to vote or not is not for you and I to decide, but what we know is that a lot of Nigerians still take the words of these former presidents as something to take to the bank. Many people still listen to them. So if you get them saying nice things about you, well, it might translate to a few votes for you.
Now, Mr. Wonsu, still staying with if you get former president saying nice things about you, might translate to votes for you. This is taking it back to his deputy while he was the president. That's talking about Obasanjo now. Some have said the reason why, it's some comments that has been attributed to former President Obasanjo is still the reason why the candidate of the PDP is finding it difficult to get into Aso Rock, because he has said certain comments that people would say, because he's your former boss, this is why we can never trust you with our votes.
Now, what hasn't Obasanjo and Tinubu said about themselves? But you see, Nigeria is we seem, I don't know I don't know whether to say we have short memory or something. Obasanjo has said very bad, damaging things about Atiku. He has also said damaging things about Tinubu. So does it mean any of them will go? Some of them will now go back and try to correct. The truth is that even Atiku's own, you can say it's more people, because he even put it in black and white. He put it in a book. Tinubu's own, he does letter and he talks, maybe there's a media people meeting, he says things about Tinubu and all that. But that of Atiku, condemning Atiku, was put in a book. But then Nigerians have a way of the moment it comes down to him, the moment Obasanjo endorses Atiku today, many of those that will go to vote will not remember those things he said about Atiku. That's the truth. Some of us, the elite, we remember because we keep record, we are educated enough. Many of those who we vote for what is happening now. If not, I mean, if that were not to be so, Tinubu will automatically lose votes by going to visit Jonathan to seek his support and endorsement and all that. This is the same Jonathan you have said everything written and unwritten about his cluelessness. And yet you are going to meet him now to endorse you, meaning you weren't telling us the truth, or you don't want to, when you were saying Jonathan wasn't good. So all this, but the truth is that Nigerians, we have short memory, and then we say something it's like we don't even take ourselves too seriously. You say something today, by tomorrow, you are saying the complete opposite of what you said yesterday, and we are still cool, we are flowing with it. It's not good for our policy, but then that's what happens.
Mr. Wonsu, we'd just like you to pause for a moment, because we've got callers trying to reach us. So we'd just quickly like to advise those listening at the moment, they can be part of the conversation. They can reach us up on 01-444-89981 will be the number to reach us. And we're expecting to read from you also on our WhatsApp, and that will be on 0809-444-0981 for them to be part of the conversation.
All right, so you can reach us and then share, and feel free to react to any of the stories we've shared before our main topic of discussion. And then, I mean, our guest has said Nigerians have short memory. They forget a lot before the elections. What do you think about it? Let's have that conversation. And visits to former presidents, what's your take on it? Good morning. Good morning to you. Well, very well. What's your name and location?
Right now in Ababa.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been listening to your discussion so far. Well, so good. But I want you to understand, you are Pepple, right?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you are a human being. The analysis you just gave about the political parties and what is going to be their stake in 2023. I want you to understand that what is going to happen this time around is God is going to be involved, not human being anymore. Because Nigerians, we use our human effort and we have faith. But we, the children of God, are crying out to God to do something for us. Since the whole political system is a mere, what I can call it, nothing to write home about. Those that are coming on board, they are still the same old tricks, the same old gangs who are really coming to destroy us. We are asking God to make a choice for us. And our God will not disappoint us. And you are going to see surprises.
Joseph, before we continue, do you have your PVC? All right.
And I have gone to do the transfer to make sure I vote here in Lagos.
All right, Joseph. It's also important that we put it out there that God doesn't vote. It's the Nigerians that will vote in 2023 for one of these candidates. All right.
You need to be spiritually inspired.
Joseph, thank you so much for.
All right.
Joseph, thank you so much for your time. There are still some more callers we need to get to right now. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Joseph, for your comments there.
All right, you need to be spiritually inspired.
But God doesn't
Pepple.
vote in elections. Nigerians are the ones who will vote, not even in America. If you get your PVC, that's the only way you vote. If you don't have PVC, you cannot vote until 2027.
All right, Mr. Steve is still here. Steve, something just there's a very interesting dynamics right now. So we looked at the point.
We'll come back. Let's see if we can take more calls, and then we'll come back to Mr. Steve. Please bear with us. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Your name and where you're calling from.
Say your name again.
Yeah,
We would like to get your name.
My name is Bayo, I said.
Bayo. Oh, Bayo, you're welcome.
All right, Bayo, talk to us.
I'm calling from Yata.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have a friend who's a top politician. And guess what? They see politics as a given. Actually, one of the terms he uses is you should know how to play the game. Now, I'm sure that we all watch football matches. During those soccer matches, maybe a team like Liverpool is playing Man City. You think it's a war. Only after the game, what do you see? They embrace each other, they accept the result, and they move on. That's how our politicians are. That's why it's easy for somebody to lambast a person today, and tomorrow is embracing him, and they are smiling together. And unfortunately, the foreigners are the ones who kill themselves. That's the last thing.
Okay, there we go. We just had Bayo from Yaba giving us his point. We must remember that politics for the politicians is like a game. After it ends, there's backslapping, and then they go pop champagne at the end of the day. Well, can we take in?
We'll take a break. That's
right.
what we need to take now. Then when we come back, we'll be wrapping up. Okay, let's take one more call before we take that
Mr.
break.
Steve, please just hold on for us here, please. Go ahead.
I'm holding on.
Good morning. You're welcome.
All right, go ahead.
My view is just simple. You see, I believe the Nigerian political stage is developing. Same thing, the voters. Voters are getting more sophisticated. Thank God more youths are registering. But I just hope that in all of this drama, whether you visit old politicians or former president, etc., politicians will do whatever they have to do to garner votes. It is the rule of the game, and it is the world they are. But as voters who are not partisan but with political interest, we just have to read between the lines. We need to look at people's antecedents, and we need to vote for them based on what our gut tells us, you know. So, but it's good that more Nigerians are getting clearer. Even the people you call the rural dwellers are getting more enlightened. They are all reading, they are all seeing it. And I believe this next election next year is going to be interesting, I would say. But it won't be too far from what it used to be, but it will be more interesting. I just hope that people just don't get the PVCs, or they actually go to vote that day. It's another thing to have your PVC, it's another thing to vote.
All right, Ola, thank you so much for your call. Let's take that break. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up the conversation here. Stay with us.
8.1. Every move you every
Mr. Steve.
Yes.
They're taking your time.
At least you were listening to the callers, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll respond.
I saw.
No, we're not on air now. We're taking an advert break. So when we come back, you'll respond to them.
Okay.
Great. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Interesting. God does not vote in elections. I have PVC. Do you have?
That's a very anyhow person.
No, but that's the truth now. Will God come down and say, I'm from Iyanoworo? Let me go and vote.
Why is your life like this?
God does not vote in elections.
Okay.
We'll be doing we'll soon come back.
but that's the frank truth.
Yes,
Most
now
people don't want to hear.
God will help us. God will help us. Go and vote. You will help yourself by voting.
That's true.
Anybody you vote, like President Buhari has said, I will not support anybody.
I don't believe that.
For,
I don't believe that one.
that one, he does not want to support anybody.
He
that
wants to support.
Clear. He's not supporting anybody. He will not even go for campaign. Who put money? He will not go for campaign for APC. We are back on Mr. Steve. Don't mind us.
I like it. So, can I go on? Are you hearing me?
Okay, just a moment before you go on, Mr. Steve. I would just like to welcome you back to the program. It's Talk Politics on Smooth 98.1. Our callers have really made this very, very interesting. Now, there are some interesting dynamics the calls have raised. Now, there is the visit to former presidents, and there is the visit to God also. So, Mr. Steve, if you've been following the conversation, we'd like you to get your response on, the role that God plays after the former visit to former presidents.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I'm actually a Catholic.
Okay, go ahead.
I believe in God, but at the risk of sounding, not talking heresy, speaking heresy on live radio, I want to say that God does not have PVC. God, we have this problem of outsourcing. God has given us brains and to get ourselves out of certain jams we get ourselves into in this country. But instead of taking that responsibility, we now outsource that responsibility back to God and say, God will help us, God will help. God has already given us the wherewithal to help ourselves. It's left for us to help ourselves. And the only thing is, get your PVC. I'm happy you people are drumming the issue of PVC, not only having PVC, going out that day to vote. Because there will be so many things that will be thrown at you, including some tasks that we try to cause small, in what we used to call in the street, initial gaga, just to scatter things so you get scared and don't come to vote. Stay, hold your ground, hold your space, vote. That is the only way you can make this change. Like somebody said, politicians will do everything they have to do to get the votes. That is why today we are talking APC saying, even though people are saying Christian, Muslim ticket, APC is defending it. The calculation is not about God or religion or anything. They just calculated, where does the bulk vote come from? what do we stand to lose by picking this man, and what do we stand to gain by picking him? They weighed it and discovered that what they stood to gain, what they stand to gain is higher than what they stand to lose. So they will take the choice and then face the flag. Let all of the rest of us make noise. Let Christians make noise. Let whoever it is make noise. After they will manage the noise. At the end of the day, they have their eyes on the vote.
All right.
The same thing they have on their mind when they go to visit the former president. People that normally they should with the civilians or the non-partisan, non-politicians that will fight today, carry the fight till tomorrow. The politicians will finish. I always have cited this joke I saw in my former boss, we're still my boss for life, Dr. Joseph Kalu. In his house, when he was governor, he had this issue with Obasanjo. They were fighting, quarreling, everything, all kinds of things, even things, funds that were supposed to go to Abia, like when they wanted to go to the capital market to raise funds, the president sat on this. But the truth is that after all that fight, you go to Carlos' room, right in his sitting room, you will see a photograph of Obasanjo in boxer and singlet in Carlos' bedroom. That's how close they are.
Exactly.
They will come to the public and make why Atsenuwa was shouting and abusing Jonathan. A security person told me that, do I know that these people find a way to see themselves at night after making all the noise in the afternoon? Same thing they do with IBB. So it's the politicians will do one thing to be political.
Mr. Steve, we need to go. And we look forward.
Themselves at the back, so let us go and vote.
Thank you very much. We need to go now, but we look forward to more conversations with you, and would like to have you right live in the studio. All right, so we can discuss this. In fact, our next conversation, I would like it to be the job of the next president of Nigeria. What is the job of the next president of Nigeria? I would like you to help us with that next time you're in town. But we must thank you very much for being a part of the conversation today. Our guest on the program today has been Mr. Steve Nwosu. Of course, Steve Nwosu is the MD and editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Express newspaper, former Deputy Managing Director of the Sun newspaper, and former Saturday editor of This Day newspaper, also a member at the Nigerian Guild of Editors. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for indulging me and rating me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, that's the size of our package today. We'd like to do it again next week, Thursday at 11 o'clock.
But not before we say big thank you to our callers, people who reached out. We want to say thank you to Joseph from Apapa. We had Bayo from Yaba. We also had Olanik Penku from Omole, who dropped their grain of salt in the conversation for today. We really do appreciate it. Let's make it a date next Thursday at about 11 a.m.
Now, before we go, from me personally, when it comes to voting, please get your PVC. God can only, in fact, they say in Nigeria, heaven helps those who help themselves. If you have your PVC or have registered, make sure you get that PVC. That's the only way you can vote for any candidate of your choice. Any. I don't have a candidate. So you can vote for any candidate of your choice with your PVC, and that's how God can help you. My name is Victor Pepple.
I am Omatseye Atsenuwa, but Victor, don't forget that you need to be spiritually inspired. Have a great day. Thank you.